So this is the very early stage of your project. You have your strong back ready, you have your moles and stations aligned properly, you have your cedar strips milled and ready to be placed and stapled onto the moles. But there are some little things that you might encounter that nobody speaks about. You can read all the manuals, you can watch all the tutorials available on YouTube, and yet you won't find them because everybody is doing it in his own way. I know you can't wait to start the project, so let's jump into this short episode. A lot of knowledge, little of time. Let's tune in and dive into the project. Here's the tricky part. When you start to place and to glue another planks one on top of the other, you have to fix them. The way we do this, we staple them to the mold. So the thing is that when you place the glue into this strip cove, there is a time when the glue that you applied here will sit there and wait for you to do your preparations. Different glues have different pot life, basically open time. So if we are speaking about Titebond number 1 and number 2, that's 5 minutes. If it's number 3, water resistant green one, it will give you a little bit more time, about 10 minutes. It also depends on the temperature where you're working. If it's your garage, it might be chillier, so you might have a little bit more time. When you squeeze the glue into the cove, next thing you want to do, you want to put another strip on top of it and staple it securely in place. So we have your fixing points where the molds are, so you staple them there, but there is a weak point where the strips are not compressed, and because of the curvature of the hull, these strips have the tension and they don't want to sit one in another. So this is where you want to compress them. One of the methods to secure the strip in place is to use a masking tape. It works fine, but only in the first stages, because when you have a little bit of strips, it's quite easy to wrap them around. When you progress, you have more planks over here, and you will need a substantial amount of masking tape to be used, and because of the curvature of the boat, it won't fix the planks in place as effective as a bungee cord. Another part is that the exact place where your tape is placed, the glue tends to set there longer. Of course, if you're putting only one strip per day, that's totally fine. You will come here next day, everything will be nice. But if you want to place 2, 3, 4, or if you want to spend the whole day planking, well, tape is not the best option. The next thing that you will find that some people are proposing is to use these bungee cords with the hooks on both sides of them. So the bungee cord itself is a great solution for our task, but we still have to find a way how to securely fasten it on the strip, because you see, we cannot place this metal hook directly onto the cedar strip, because remember, cedar is very soft and very fragile, plus we have this bed over here, so it's just gonna ruin it, and also the lower part of the hook will leave a dent on a hole that we don't want to sand afterwards. You might also try to use this temporarily solution when you will just take a piece of wood and try to fasten them to the hole, something like this, attaching one here and placing another hook over here. But this is a risky thing because it's just gonna be a messy setup anyway. And over the years, I discovered that the best place to hold those strips and those planks in place is to use those bungee cords with a little help of a small little jig. Let's see how it's made. It's super easy, actually. Everything you need to have, you already have. So first of all, grab a plank of the cedar that you have. I propose that if you are milling them yourself, there will be a lot of scrap wood that is not that good. That works just fine. Staple gun and staples, and that's everything you need. Of course, you will need a saw. Let's just cut it in half, just like that. That will do. We will need one piece, the square piece, basically width and the length of the strip, whatever your strip is the size of. So now we have 3 little pieces of cedar plank. So place this little piece with the rounded shape downwards like this. Make sure you press them like that. And remember, accuracy is not very important here. Now staple it in place. One staple here, another here, turn around, and do the same from another side. Remember, we had a rounded piece over here. Oh, by the way, you can also put a tape on it just in case you're gluing it, so to make sure it's not glued to the hole. Okay, so let's take the more advanced version of it. So you're taping it from both sides. And so over here we have this cove on the strip, and here we have this rounded piece. So it goes directly like this. It sits in place real snug. So don't worry about the stiffness. It has to be flexible. That's why the staples work just fine. There has to be a little bit of flexibility. So you place it just like that. You can see that the strip goes in quite naturally because it's designed to go in. And then you take your bungee cord and you just place it like this on top or from the interior side, depending on your station and your mold. Compress a little bit and you're done. And this is how you secure your planks in place, hassle-free, no stress. No stress is the main reason why we are building the canoe, because it takes all the stress out of our life. So if you like this episode, make sure you press that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more pro tips and tricks. Stay tuned.